Porsche is associated with wealth, luxury, class, reliability, and speed. The brand is one of the most popular and adored in the automobile industry for its cool designs, smooth driving, and speed. However, beyond its beaming light of success, looms shadow of evil and atrocious practices and associations you may not have heard about. The company has partnered with other automobile companies, borrowed parts, sponsored wars, and even used slave labor. Yet its name and designs have transcended centuries and changed the world forever. This video will cover how a young man from the Austria-Hungarian Empire rose from a family of blacksmiths to becoming the best automotive engineer in the world without completing any formal education, to becoming close friends with Hitler himself, and to using slaves and prisoners of war to create engines of mass destruction. Before we get into the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The name Porsche, as we know it, started with a young man known as Ferdinand Porsche. Ferdinand was born to a family of blacksmiths in northern Bohemia, a part of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, which is now part of the modern-day Czech Republic in 1875. From a young age, Ferdinand apprenticed at his father's workshop in preparation to carry on the family business. However, his fascinations lied in electricity and technology. Candles and gas-powered lights were popular in many households, despite the existence of light bulbs. Ferdinand's fascination with electricity and the light bulb led him to create a power generator that provided electricity to his household. This made Porsche home the only one in the neighborhood that had electricity. Thanks to Ferdinand's display of talent, his father could no longer ignore his potential, so he decided to allow his son to pursue his talents properly at the Imperial Polytechnic College of Reichenberg. By day, he helped his father in his workshop, and at night, he attended classes. Ferdinand's talents spoke for him wherever he found himself, and in 1893, thanks to a recommendation, he landed a job at an electrical company called Bella Egger & Co. in Vienna. At the young age of 18, he moved to Vienna to begin his first job. At the time, automobiles were mostly used on racetracks and by monarchs and society's elite. They weren't as common among regular citizens. However, as fate would have it, Ferdinand came across a vehicle designed by Gottlieb Daimler. Ferdinand thoroughly observed this automobile and developed an interest in the vehicle's build. The young lad went on to build Bela Egger's first automated carriage, which was powered by a motor placed on the hub of the back wheels. The car was a big success, but unfortunately for Ferdinand, his brother died, leaving him as the heir to the family business. He eventually dropped out of the university and left his job at Bella Egger. About a year after he quit school and his job, he began working at a factory called Jacob Lohner & Company, where he produced coaches for Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria. While he worked for the company, they decided to stretch their efforts into creating automobiles. In 1898, Ferdinand designed the Egger Lohner, also known as the P1, which was his first electric car for the company. As a transport vehicle, the car might have excelled, but like most cars of its era, it was built for races and record breaking. Given its purpose, it had a major flaw, which was its weight. Ferdinand improved his design by designing a car powered by an internal combustion engine supported by backup batteries. He called this the Lohner Porsche Mixed Hybrid. The vehicle was an instant success. It dominated the races, proving the superiority of gas-powered combustion engines. As one would expect, his engineering and designs kept gaining fame and success. While he worked at Jacob Lohner through the 1900s, he eventually left the company to work for the Austro-Daimler Company as a technical manager. There, he racked achievement after achievement. In 1923, he took his expertise to another company, where he became the technical manager and a board member. During his time there, he oversaw the creation of the Mercedes compressor car. The engineer made groundbreaking designs and inventions wherever he stepped foot in the automobile industry. He was the one every company aspired to acquire. However, that didn't matter when the Great Depression arrived. With the Great Depression, people could simply no longer afford automobiles. This caused sales to plummet, causing Ferdinand's place of work to struggle. The engineer felt frustrated by this, so he decided to leave and create his own company. Besides, it was high time he took credit and profit for his genius. In 1931, Ferdinand left Daimler to start his own company under his name, which was mostly a car consulting company rather than a manufacturer. He did this by gathering former work associates, including his son Ferry, from his previous workplaces. Due to the economic situation at the time, commissions were hardly coming in. The few that came in hardly made any sales. The company had only just started, but it was at death's door. Porsche struggled to keep its head from drowning in the depression. Well, that was until a dark horse galloped its way to their rescue. Following his appointment as the Chancellor of Germany, Adolf Hitler wanted to make an automobile that could fit a family of 5 and would be so affordable that the average person could afford it. He called this car the Volkswagen, or the people's car. To do this, the Führer gathered many struggling car companies and gave them his demands, making them sort of compete for the commission. While the profits from such a commission were glaringly mouth-watering, the price tag Hitler placed on the vehicle was beyond outrageous. It was outrageous until, of course, the genius engineer came up with a design with the help of his son that perfectly fit the description. This design would be popularly known as the Beetle. Porsche was awarded the contract to build this car under Hitler's Volkswagen project. Thanks to its compact design and weight balance, it goes beyond saying that the Beetle was a success, and it quickly became a bestseller. Hitler quickly took a liking to the genius from the Czech Republic. However, the Führer was known to regard Czech citizens as less than humans, so he did his best to convince his new friend to get German citizenship. Ferdinand agreed, and in 1937, he joined the Nazi Party. It certainly doesn't make sense to join hands with a political figure like Hitler, who saw Czech citizens as subhuman. However, from a business perspective, Ferdinand made the right move. Closer affiliations with the Reich meant an endless flow of commissions and funding. The company would no longer worry about getting wiped off the face of the earth, and kicked off the Second World War. Once again, Hitler needed another vehicle of his own kind, and just like before, he threw the commission at different automobile companies to compete for his favor. Porsche got itself into this squabble, and Ferdinand and Ferry tried to make a design to satisfy the Führer's request. However, instead of the sports car or family-friendly car that Ferdinand was used to, Hitler asked the automobile companies to build him a tank that could maneuver the battlefield and lay waste to enemy forces. They did successfully create the design, but it had too many flaws and was impractical on the battlefront. It was over-engineered and broke down too many times to be considered worthy of the field. Usually, such rejection wouldn't mean as much because the company can always get back on its feet by producing other things. But that was not the case here. Ferdinand invested too much in not only the design, but the 100 other chassis he built, waiting for Hitler's order to deploy his tank. The failed tanks were then converted to mobile anti-tank guns known as the Panzerjäger Tiger or Ferdinand. However, they still weren't as useful as he had hoped, and they all ended up either breaking down or getting destroyed. Porsche had to do something about this loss. They had to make money somewhere. Their desperation led them to seek cheaper means of production, which involved using slaves and prisoners of war to work in their factories for little to no pay. While this act was despicable, it kept them afloat through the war. After the war was over, in 1945, Ferdinand Porsche, his son-in-law, and his son, Ferry Porsche, were all arrested for war crimes. Ferdinand's charges were worse, as he was charged with using slave labor and being close friends with Hitler. 6 months after their arrest, Ferry was set free while his father remained in captivity. As a result, the young engineer returned to Porsche, which was moved to France along with the Volkswagen project. Ferry worked extra hard to earn enough to bail out his father and brother-in-law. On his own, Ferry was unable to raise the money by himself, but with the help of a contract he struck with a company named Systalia, he was able to raise enough money to earn his father's freedom. In addition to the work the company did for Systalia at the time, the company moved back to Stuttgart under the leadership of Ferry, and they started working on the Porsche 356. This car became the first to carry the Porsche name. Despite Ferry's decisive action, the company was still unable to mass produce its new model vehicles. The banks could not give them any credit as the company's plant was under American embargo, leaving them with nothing to use as collateral. Once again, Ferry's quick and decisive action came to the rescue. He took one of the new models and drove it down to the Volkswagen dealers, asking them to pay in advance for the ordered 356. The dealers were reluctant to agree to this request at first, but once Ferry showed them documents proving that his father Ferdinand designed the Volkswagen Beetle, they not only agreed to his request, but they also offered Porsche royalties on every Beetle sold in exchange for additional consulting work. This deal revived the company and proved how capable a businessman Ferry Porsche was. Unfortunately, Ferdinand did not live to witness the excellence of his son and his company in the near future. He died a few weeks later in 1951. The Porsche family eventually gave up the running of the company after Ferry retired. Today, they are owned by the Volkswagen Group, but they are still known to deliver high-quality and luxurious sports cars and SUV. Despite the ups and downs, the company has somehow managed to maintain quality performance and beautiful designs. And despite their dark history, they have managed to earn the favor of the general public, as though nothing ever happened. Let us know what you think of the luxurious automobile brand in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on the next video.